Friends in Beauty, a place for beauty industry creatives looking to create impact, influence, and longevity. I'm your best friend in beauty, Aquia Robinson, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some networking basics and giving you 8 tips to effectively network, even if you are an introvert. Networking is super essential to the longevity and success of your business. I absolutely love networking. I love talking about networking because literally every opportunity that I've gotten as a makeup artist, every major opportunity that I have gotten has literally come from networking. I have assisted Morel Hollis and worked on a Black Opal campaign, also an Essence cover shoot. I got the job to go to San Francisco for a whole month and work on an off-Broadway play. I got to do makeup for Total for the Bad Boy reunion concert. I've done work for the Love and Hip Hop reunions. The list goes on. If you listen to episode 1 of the Friends of Beauty podcast, you'll get the rundown of everything, but literally every major opportunity that I have gotten has come from networking. So networking is super duper important, but a lot of people don't know how to go about networking, or it just makes them nervous, or they're introverts, so they get, kind of overwhelmed sometimes with being in a room with a group of people. Whatever it is, I just want you to do it right. So that's why I am giving you these tips today. So let's go ahead and jump into these 8 tips for effectively networking, especially for my introverts. This is for you. So make sure you are locked in and tuned in, and let's get into it. So tip number 1 is to arrive on time. And this is super important, especially for my introverts. Imagine how overwhelmed you would feel if you walked into a room and people are already grouped up and they're talking, and it just makes it more difficult to kind of insert yourself into conversations. But if you arrive on time before everybody gets there, then people kind of have to come to you and start conversations and things like that. You don't want to be walking into a crowded room already. If you are an introvert, it's going to automatically just overwhelm you and just get you all frazzled. So make sure you arrive on time to events that you're going to, and just make your life a little bit more easier. Tip number 2 is to have a game plan. So before you attend any networking event, or even if you are reaching out to people on social media, you want to have a game plan. You want to know why you are at this event or why you are reaching out in the first place. So if you're going to an event, you might have a game plan of saying like, hey, I'm just going to get 5 contacts, and then after that, I'm just going to relax. Like whatever your game plan is, just stick to it. Just make sure you have a plan of action, and once you hit that goal, then your job is done. Tip number 3 is to have fun. Networking does not have to be boring. And if you've ever been to a Friends in Beauty event, then you know that networking does not have to be boring at all. We have fun at the Friends in Beauty events. So have fun at these events. You don't have to be all stuffy and all closed in and anything like that. And if you need to bring somebody with you in order to have fun, to kind of be your wing person, do what you have to do, but make sure it's an enjoyable experience, and make sure you're actually attending events that you want to be at. It makes it a lot more easier. Tip number 4 is to be yourself and to be present. So when it comes to networking, you do not have to pretend to be somebody that you're not. If you are an introvert, if you are a quiet person, then go ahead and find the other introverts and the other quiet people in the room, and y'all could band together and meet people together. Be yourself. Nobody's asking you to walk into the room and be the biggest personality in there, because that's not even my personality at all. I think people will probably more so notice me a lot of times because I might be like the quietest person in the room. So just be yourself. If you're quiet, be quiet. If you're shy, be shy. Like, just because you're shy or introverted doesn't mean that you can't still make connections, and meaningful connections at that. And then also be present, because when you're talking to people, they want to know that they have your undivided attention and that you are locked into what they are saying, what they're sharing. So be present. Don't be looking off into the distance and trying to think about what you're going to say next. Just listen more than you talk, and just remain present in the moment. Tip number 5 is to focus on giving and not taking. So a lot of times people network based off of what the other person can do for them and not what they can do for other people. So that's why it's very important to remain present when you're in conversations with people, because you never know what kind of value you can add to their lives as well. So even if it's not something that you can personally do for them, you may know somebody that can help them, and with you going that extra mile to assist them, they're going to remember that. And when they have an opportunity that comes up, they're going to have you first in mind. Tip number 6 is to listen more than you talk. And this is going to be super helpful for my introverts, because a lot of times, you know, from the introverts that I know, they don't want to talk too much. It exhausts them. They don't want to spend too much energy talking and sharing about themselves. But if you let other people just sit back and talk, it's all good. People love talking about themselves, so it's going to be super easy to find somebody that's going to do all the talking. And remember, you just be present. You nod, you know, oh, I got it. Just stay engaged with them and just let them talk. Introverts, that should be easy, right? Just let them talk. But definitely talk more than you listen. There's nothing worse than going to a networking event and people are trying to overtalk you, and you know, you just can't get your point across. But key thing, let people talk and you listen. Tip number 7 for these networking tips is to think long-term versus short-term. When you're building relationships with people, you might not notice a return on that relationship building right away, but in the long run, you will. So a good example of this is a story that I always share, is when I initially met Morel Hollis. So I met Morel Hollis in May 2013. He said he wanted me to assist him one day, come to New York and all that good stuff. We exchanged information. I did not see Morel again until February 2014, but in the meantime I continued to, you know, reach out and everything so he could remember me. But building that relationship with him was definitely not a short-term thing. It was more so for the long haul. You just never know, like somewhere down the line something is going to come up, as long as you're keeping in contact. And that leads me to tip number 8 actually, which is to follow up. This is where a lot of people drop the ball when it comes to networking, is that they go to these events or they reach out to people and exchange information and then never talk to them ever again. So pretty much all of your networking efforts are wasted. It's super important to follow up with people. If I never followed up with Morel, I would have never gotten to assist him for the Black Opal campaign. I would have never gotten to assist him for the Essence campaign. I wouldn't have met the person at his birthday party that essentially gave me the job to go to San Francisco for a whole year. I would have never gotten to work on the Bad Boy reunion concert with Total. It's just so many things that came from me building that one relationship and following up that led to so many opportunities for me. So you just never know. You have to follow up with people and see where it leads, and just continue to build that relationship over time. So I would love to know, where did some of your best connections come from? And if you have any additional tips for networking, drop them below in the comments, because I want to know. I just absolutely love networking. When I first started out as a makeup artist, I was going back and forth to New York, just going to events and not even realizing what I was doing. I didn't even consider it networking at the time, but it definitely paid off in the long run. So if you are not networking now, you should definitely start networking immediately. This is an ongoing process. Like, as long as you're going to be in business, you're going to have to continue to network and build relationships. So if you're not networking, you're definitely missing out. And soon enough, the Friends in Beauty networking events will be back on and popping, so you could come out to a Friends in Beauty event and test out some of these tips. So thank you so much for tuning into today's video. I hope that you found this helpful. If you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment below. If you want me to give more tips on other topics, just let me know and I got you. I am your best friend in beauty after all. Also, follow Friends in Beauty on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty to stay connected. Join the Friends in Beauty Facebook community so you can start to meet some people and virtually connect and network there. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.